Glory to God. Today is the day the Lord has made. I rejoice and be glad in it. And I'm super excited to have you back for another video. Welcome to the Kingdom Women channel where living for God is made practical. Today's video I titled Like Children. It's just going to be something else that you can deposit in your piggy bank of spiritual knowledge. And it's going to be something that is important for us to understand as kingdom citizens, to embody as kingdom citizens, and to understand the responsibility of it as a kingdom citizen. It's going to be all about our relationship with God, our dependence on God, and our faith in God. And it's just one of those small details that helps us understand how we are to fill those roles and positions, and how we are to walk out our faith, how we are to consider our relationship with God. Okay, and so let's dive right in. So, as a kingdom citizen, you've established it in your mind and you held on to it in your heart that you are a child of God. You acknowledge and you understand that there are responsibilities that come with that position. You understand that there are things in the Bible that we are to do, and there are things in the Bible that if we do, then we can have our names removed from the book of life. We understand first and foremost the importance of faith through grace. So we understand that we aren't driven by the law, but we also understand that if we're serious about walking out our kingdom assignments, that we have some responsibilities that we need to take care of. We understand that we were sent here with a purpose. And this is just going to be something else that helps us with our transformation process. And it leads us to Matthew chapter 18. And it's a conversation. Here we find a conversation of Jesus talking with his disciples, through which a disciple has asked Jesus who would be considered the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. And Jesus pulls a child over to them, and he tells them that unless you change and become like children, you will never enter into the kingdom of heaven. And he tells them that whoever humbles themselves and takes on the lowly position of this child is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. And so that's quite significant because it tells us a little bit more about our salvation and what it takes. It's a request made upon us. More than an instruction, it tells us that without taking on this part of the transformation process, we may not be successful in entering into the kingdom of heaven. So that's why this is actually quite critical in our walk to salvation. Another scripture is 2 Corinthians chapter 6. Verse 18, and that just says, I will be a father unto you, and you will be my sons and my daughters. And so that's just a little bit more information about our relationship with God, how we are to consider it, and how God considers us. He considers us his children. And we are to consider him a father. Just like you were with your parents, or like your children now are with you, when you were a child, you depended on your parents to provide for you, to take care of you, to meet your needs. And not only that, you didn't even think about whether or not your needs were going to be met. You just depended on your parents to do that for you. You depended on their word. You knew that their word was law. You knew if they told you to do something, you better do it. But you knew if they said that they were going to do something for you, they did it. And you didn't have to question that. You didn't have to question your security. And so that is the type of relationship we are to have with God. We are to depend on him in that way. And we are to know and have faith that he's going to take care of every one of our needs. And so that brings us to Matthew chapter 6. Verse 25 through 34, and that just explains what I just mentioned a little bit more in depth. And it talks about how God is the creator of all things, and he takes care of everything that belongs to him, to include the birds of the air and the flowers, the grass. He meets their needs. He provides food and covering for them. And so it tells us that he considers us in more highly regard than these things. And so we shouldn't be worried about having our needs met. It just gives us an instruction to seek him and his kingdom and his righteousness. And it tells us that as a result of us seeking him out, him and his kingdom and his righteousness, that every one of our needs are going to be met. They're just going to be given to us. There's nothing else that we have to do. So that goes back to the relationship we have with our parents. You know what I'm saying? They placed responsibilities on us and we executed them. And we knew that everything was going to be okay. Like chores or something, for example. I mean, you didn't have to do the chores. It's not a give and take relationship. You didn't have to do the chores so that you could get food. But, you know, you respected your parents enough to respect them to do what they asked you to do what they were requiring you to do. You lived under their roof and in their house. They had their own specific set of rules for you to execute. And that's all it is. Again, the kingdom of heaven is a kingdom that belongs to God. So in the same way, you can't expect to go into God's kingdom, into his house, into his home, you know, doing your own thing. That's super disrespectful. And so we're just to respect him in the same manner and take these things into consideration. That's all. So yeah, if you have any additional questions or comments about the information I provided today, go ahead and leave that down in the comment section and I might make another video just for you. Until next time, peace.